Hello and welcome to our book club. We are so glad that you are here today. This month, we are going to be talking about winter holidays around the world. We know that this is typically a time when we celebrate Christmas, at least in our tradition, but we know that it's important to think about others and the way that others celebrate holidays in their traditions, either cultural traditions or religious traditions. So today we're starting this week, this month, this theme off with our Hanukkah book because we are in the middle of Hanukkah this week. So this is called By the Hanukkah Light, and it is written by Sheldon, Oberman, and Neil Waldman. Let's get started with our story. By the Hanukkah Light. Here's a little note from our authors. As a child, I was upset by stories of the terrible persecution of Jewish people. Many of my generation felt insecure and afraid. We must never forget, but we must never surrender to fear. Hanukkah celebrates a time of rescue and restoration. It honors the Maccabees who fought against the spiritual destruction of their people. Let us remember the power of courage and the miracle of rebirth. This book honors the modern Maccabees of World War II, who fought for the light of all civilization. Rachel loves Hanukkah at her grandparents' house. She loves Grandma and Grandpa's soft hugs and kisses, the smell of the potato pancakes frying in the kitchen, and the sweet taste of applesauce spooned from the jar. She loves helping Grandpa clean the Hanukkah, a silver candle holder shaped like a tree guarded by a lion that stands at the roots. The roots hold the tree trunk, a thick knotted tree trunk. The trunk holds 9 branches, 9 heavy branches. The branches hold nests, 9 little nests. The nests are for candles, 9 colored candles. And the candles are for lighting on each night of Hanukkah. Rachel spreads newspaper under the Hanukkah. Grandpa dabs silver cleaner on 2 strips of cloth. What part should we clean first? Grandpa asks Rachel. The roots or the lion? The trunk or the branches? Or maybe the 9 little nests? Rachel answers. We always start at the roots. We finish at the nests. It's what we do every year. Grandpa smiles and he says, that's the best way to go. We start at the bottom and work up to the top. They rub and they polish till all of it shines. It's like a tree made of moonlight, Rachel whispers to Grandpa. He nods and he tells her, the Hanukkah is ready. Now we can celebrate Hanukkah. Grandpa and Rachel call the family together. Grandma turns off the lights all throughout the house. Jacob lights the shamash candle, and he gives it to Rachel. Rachel sings out the blessings, and she lights one candle for the first night of Hanukkah. Then everyone says, Amen. Now, tell us the story, says Rachel to Grandpa. Tell it the same way you do every year. Grandpa looks at the light of the old Hanukkah, and he says, I remember when I was a boy. I would sing out the blessings and light the first candle. And then my grandpa would tell me how Hanukkah began. The family grows quiet. They sit close and listen as Grandpa tells the story that he'd been told told a long time ago. More than 2,000 years ago, Jews lived in the Promised Land. We had a great temple lit by a great lamp. Then a foreign king came with an army of soldiers, and they tried to make everyone pray to their gods. They put pigs in our temple. They raised up stone idols. They pulled down our lamp, and they put out its light. One family fought back. They were called Maccabees. The Maccabees showed our people how to fight to be free, and our people kept fighting year after year, till finally they defeated that king and his army, and they cleared out the pigs. They threw out the idols. They cleaned the great temple and lit the great lamp for everyone to see. But there was only enough oil in the lamp for one day. It would take 8 whole days for more oil to be made. Our people cried out, "The light will not last. The temple will soon become dark once again." Then a miracle happened. A blessing came to them. The light of the lamp burned for 8 days without dying. And in those 8 days more oil was made, so the lamp was kept burning, and its light was not lost. Now each Jewish home has its own special lamp. For the 8 nights of Hanukkah, we bless it, and we light it where everyone can see it to remember that time a long time ago. Grandpa's eyes shine in the light of the candles. He kisses Rachel and Jacob, and he quietly says, "That's the story you asked for, and that's the story you've got. I told it the same way as my grandpa told me." Rachel asked Grandpa, "After the story, did you eat potato pancakes? Did you spin wooden tops and get Hanukkah money? Did you sing songs?" asked Jacob. "Did you stay up really late?" "Of course," Grandpa answers, "just like you do today. We ate potato latkes covered with applesauce. We played with our dreidels. We got Hanukkah gelt. We sang and told jokes until we were so tired that our mama and papa had to carry us to bed." "What about the Hanukkah?" Jacob asks him. "Did you put it in the window so everyone can see it?" "No," Grandpa answers in a voice of deep sadness. "We did not dare show it because we were afraid." Grandpa looks at the light of the old Hanukkah. Grandma stands beside him, touching his hand. He says, "I will tell you a story of our family. It began during Hanukkah when I was a boy." Once again, they are quiet. They sit close and listen as Grandpa tells the story of his life long ago. Another man came with an army of soldiers. More than 60 years ago, many Jews lived in Europe. They destroyed many temples and schools and homes. The soldiers hurt many people, especially the Jews. When Hanukkah came, we were afraid. Afraid to put our Hanukkah in the window, afraid to bless it and light it, afraid that someone would see it and say we were Jews. So we kept our light hidden, our curtains drawn shut. As soon as we could, our family fled Europe. We had to leave everything, even our Hanukkah. Years later, many nations gathered together. They formed a great army to set everyone free. By then, I had grown up, and I joined as a soldier. I tried to be brave like the old Maccabees. I fought and I kept fighting year after year until finally We defeated that man and his army, and all people of all nations had peace once again. I returned to the town where my family had lived. I walked through the streets. They were silent and empty. I came to our house. It was broken and burned. I looked everywhere, but I saw only ruins. I broke down and I cried over all that was lost. Then my miracle happened. A blessing came to me. The wind blew the ashes that lay at my feet. I looked and I saw a little silver nest. It was freed from the ruins. It was shining in the sun. I uncovered 3 more nests. They were held up by branches. I uncovered the branches. They were held by a trunk. I uncovered the trunk and it was guarded by a lion that stood at the roots. I rose up and I shouted, "Our Hanukkah!" Now every year since then, on the first night of Hanukkah, I clean it, I polish it, and I put it in the window for everyone to see, because I am no longer afraid. Grandma says, I turn off the lights all throughout the house. Jacob lights the shamash candle. He gives it to Rachel. Rachel sings out the blessings and she lights 1 candle for the first night of Hanukkah. That everyone says Amen. Rachel says to Grandpa, when I grow up and have children, I will tell them these stories the way that you have told me. The story of our people and the story of our family as we gather by the Hanukkah light. The end. We hope that you have enjoyed today's book. It's important to remember these stories and some of the really difficult things that have happened in our history. As difficult as they are to think about, they're important to remember so that we can do our best to stay away from atrocities like this. And still we find that even in those difficult memories, living those difficult times, there's still always hope. This story is about a family that chooses to light their candle because they are no longer afraid. And many of us light candles on different holidays. And I hope that even if you don't celebrate Hanukkah, that you can find something in this story that you connect to. Maybe it is the lighting of candles. Maybe it's singing together, saying blessings, hearing stories from your grandparents. Whatever it is, I hope that you find something that connects, because the truth is that regardless of where we are from, what language we speak, what traditions we have, what religion we practice, there's many things that connect us, many more than things that separate us. So I hope that you learned something from this book and that you will continue to join us each week as we read different books, different stories about holidays and winter holidays around the world. Thank you so much for being here, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.